Hi, I'm Alana. I'm at Molly Brandt. I have a 6-7 split. So I'm gonna run the number talk with you. So I'll tell you that it's 125 plus 68. Just take your chest so I know you're thinking. And then when you have a solution, a strategy, a thought, thumb up. I gotta think too. Yes. So then I'll say to them when I see one thumb, at this point they would know that, okay, once you have one solution, one strategy, try another way. Give it another go. Give it another try. With my students, what I do is I look at them and I see, I can tell they're thinking, I look at their eyes, they're doing something, and then eventually with my crew, I have a lot who have a lot of working memory problems, so I'll say, okay, once you've given it the good old college try, go grab a piece of scrap paper and do it on the paper just so you're a bit more confident, but they have to think about it first, and then I can then say, all right, go give it, I can see you did the good old college try, go grab a piece of paper. So just looking, still thinking? It's okay, you're still thinking. There's nothing wrong with still thinking. Alright, so I don't wanna take it, we'll just give it a go. So who would like to share their thinking on how they came up, so before I even do that, what is the answer? What did people get? What was their solution? What was the answer? You shouted at me. Pardon me? 193. Did anybody come up with a different solution? Yeah, so I usually have them just shout out the answer. Like they don't shout.
But they just all say the answer?
They all say, and then occasionally I will get 2 or 3 students who give different answers. So then I would have someone else say, oh, I heard 184, and I will write it up there. I'm like, okay. And then what I will do is say, whoever said 184, are you comfortable sharing your strategy? They might say no. They might say yes. And then what I would then say to them is, we'll come back to this one. Let's see what other people got. So 193. Who would like to share their thinking on how they got 193? Okay, so I will just Jane. Okay. So I then write the student's name because then it becomes their strategy, their name. So now they kind of have like, oh, that's my name's up there. All right, so Jane. Hold on, I gotta write 125 plus 68. And I actually say that stupid. And I tell them, okay, go ahead. How did you get?
So I started with 125 and I added 70, which is a friendly number to 68.
So you changed
I
68?
changed 68 to 70 by adding 2.
Okay, so you plus 2 to this side. So then you now have 125 plus 70. Great.
So I just had to add the 2 10s and 7 10s to get 195.
Ooh, okay, so you 2 10s and 7 10s. So you had a 20 there.
Right.
So did you kind of decompose 125 in your head?
Kind of, because I was just adding the 10s to the 10s.
Okay. And then you saw the 70 there.
Right.
So then you
I knew
did-
it was 90, so I was at
So when you did 90, you did 20 plus what?
70.
Okay, so you went 20 plus 70, gave you 90. Great, thanks, keep going, sorry.
So then I knew it was 195. When I put the 100 and the 5 pennies and the ones back in.
So do you put the 100?
I put the 100 plus 90 plus 5.
Thank you. So you did 90 plus 5, which gave you 195. Fantastic.
And I had to subtract the 2 back out of it.
Oh,
Because
so then,
I added 2 minutes.
so then you got what when you did 195?
193.
193. Thanks, Jane. That's a fantastic strategy. Do you know what you did in there? Do you know specifically the strategies that you used in this number chop, in this particular one?
I used the friendly number.
Okay.
And I did the expanded form too. Like I changed the 195 into the expanded form.
So we would say decomposed. So a place value, decomposing 125 into its place value
Okay.
component. So then we would write decompose. And then I always jokingly say it has nothing to do with dying. and things decomposing in here. It is breaking apart though. Okay, so then they get really familiar with routine, and when you forget to put the box around the strategy, they're like, Miss O, you forgot the box. I'm like, I'm sorry. Then I would do another. So who would like to share their next strategy they're thinking? Did anybody else use Jane's strategy of possibly a friendly number or decomposing? Any Me Too's in there? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Happy. Just a different friendly number? Fantastic. Okay, who'd like to share their thinking? Anybody else? Jen?
So I started with the tens, 12,
Hold on. I go.
and so in 125, I took out, I took 20 out of 125.
So you did that?
Yeah, and I took out the 60 from the 68.
So if you did 125 minus 20, what did you do?
I didn't do it like
You
that.
didn't do it like that. Okay, nope. So that I cross it out. I leave it in there because I'm trying to reflect your thinking.
So when I saw 125 and 68, I saw 20 and 60.
So 20 plus 60. Okay.
And then I also saw the 100 in the 125. And then, and so in my head, I'm adding the 100 plus the 80.
Oh, so 20 plus 60 is 80. All right. So then you did this.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I have my 8 and my 5 left over, which I combined my 5 for my 125 with I combined 2 of my 5 with the 8
Okay, so you did.
to make a group of 10 because it's friendlier in my brain.
So you did 5 plus.
I did the 8 plus 2.
8 plus 2. Where did the 2 come from?
The 2 came from the 5 within the 5 of the 125.
Did you decompose it?
I did decompose
To
it
3 and 2?
to 3 and 2
Okay.
because I wanted to make a group of 10
Right.
with the 5 and 8.
Okay.
And then I had 3 left over. So I knew it was my 180 plus a group of 10 to make 190 plus 3 more to make 193. But it happened a lot faster in my head.
It always does. It always does. And then there's inevitably the one student who's like, come on, Miss O. And it's like, okay, I'm not getting your thinking. Give me a second. And so, did I really represent your thinking really well, or is it more jumbled than what was in your head?
It's way more jumbled than in my head, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't articulate it very well.
So, I would then, knowing that your thinking is very different from mine, I would have to stop and step back, and I'd say, okay, back the truck up over bells. You really got to think about this student and how they think, and how am I going to word my questions to you in a way that then would show your thinking better than this, so that you feel good about yourself. Because right now, I don't think I did a very good job. So
I think you did a great job.
thanks. I'm not fishing for compliments right now. I'm not fishing for compliments or anything like that. So Jen, yeah, I know. So Jen, what strategies did you use in here? Do you
I used
know
a
yet?
lot of decomposing.
Yes.
Because immediately I didn't see 125 and 68, which I think is why it was so hard to explain. I immediately saw all sorts of place value numbers.
Yeah.
Because I decomposed it. I also used friendly numbers because I was trying to break them into the place value columns with the hundreds and the tens and.
Yes. So that I would go on and do more, but I'm going to stop there because we're pretty much done. But this is essentially what a number talk looks like. And in my classroom, I have my iPad that I just connect to my projector. And I use a lined piece of paper under my iPad with my camera app. And I sit at the table and I just write their thinking on the paper. And I usually grab 4 or 5 students depending on time limits and what I want to get out. And then it's on the piece of paper and I actually put them up on my classroom wall. So I have all of the strategies along my number talk wall. And anytime students aren't sure, they actually get up out of their seat or off the floor where they're sitting. They go look at all the number talks on the wall and grab a strategy if they're really struggling. Yeah.
And so in my primary class, it's more primary. I do it on chart paper every day, and then along back in my classroom, I tape them up. And I've been saying, and I've noticed during a number talk, we're really working on doubling right now in my class. I noticed the number talk if they're struggling, they'll look back. and kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'll leave the number talks up for the week, and then I just take the ones on top and eventually fall down, but I just keep them, just the chart paper. And Courtney helped me realize it doesn't have to be fancy or pretty.
Nope.
You just find something that works for you. For me, it's just taping it to the wall, ripping it off the stand, tape it to the wall, boom.
Yeah.
And then I actually keep them. I have like a couple of those 3M hooks, and I keep them because sometimes we'll come back to something because I'll say, remember when we did that? The kids will bring it up, and then I can go and pull that number plus at the front, and they can connect those strategies again. And I've learned the power in keeping the thinking because at first when I started number talks, I was doing them on the board, the dry erase board, and then all that thinking was finished and it was gone. And so I really like hoarding paper.
Are you
Thank you.
Are you doing them daily?
I do them. I do a number talk. I try to. I mean, realistically, probably something goes wrong in the
Right,
before
with your
week.
goals.
My goal is to do one doc talk a week, and I plan for 3 number talks.
I do a number talk every day in my class. Like within my math block, I start with a number talk. It's kind of a soft landing coming in from outside from lunch recess or whatever. And they know as soon as they come in, I have a table in front, I move it to the side. I have half the class comes and sit on the floor. This is grade 6, 7. They come and sit on the floor. Some stay in their seats. Some don't want to touch the floor because they don't want to get their bum dirty. And we just move up. They sit. Some are lying on the ground, whatever. And
I never
Yeah.
get my math book. Never.
I do it in mine. It really depends on what works for you and your students. But yeah, so I have all of my number talks, and so I very quickly follow. My Bible is this one. This is my Bible, and this took and I'm like still learning, constantly learning. So I might sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm always learning and having to learn and continually. My book is free, so my strategies are always. So yeah, when I'm talking with them, they're sharing, and I mean, a lot of times the kids come up with things that I didn't even anticipate. That I'm like, I never see the number 9 as 3, 3, and 3. Never see it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
the power of that is you're actually tapping into the students' minds,
Yeah.
and so you're honoring their thinking, but it's also telling you a lot about the fact that you now know that student is thinking of the number 9 as 3 groups of 3,
Yeah.
or seeing it as 3, 3, 3. It's almost like a window into their minds, which is extremely powerful. And again, absolutely, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a strategy or something that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
A lot of questions too about what do you do with the students who are taking you down a path of misconceptions. And again, you need to know your student, and there is a time and place to actually continue down that path, because that's actually telling you a great deal about their thinking, and perhaps that uncovers a gap or something that you know that you need to help a student with or a group of students with. And there are some times with some students, again, you have that relationship and that rapport with them. You might need to say, okay, I'm going to pause you because perhaps you understand that you are losing everyone else. But again, there is no strict protocol about that, but there is a great power in misconceptions coming out. Because what's really amazing is when students actually begin questioning one another.
Yeah.
Or they're, Alana, tell me more about how you saw, 4 groups of 6 is 25. Because I think it's 24.
Yeah.
And you get students having a mathematical debate, you're good. And allow them to facilitate the discussion in a very respectful way. A lot of similarities here with accountable talk. And building that sense of community in your space. There's a great deal of potential.
I know sometimes when a student will give that and they're too afraid to share their thinking, I'll say to the class, who wants to try and see how they got that answer? And so then the kids are now struggling to find that boo-boo or that mistake that they made, but in our class we know mistakes are good and they're learning. So someone else will come up and say, oh, well, I thought maybe this is what you did, and then the student will be like, actually that is exactly what I did. Because I know I've got a few who will never want to share their thinking. They might come to me privately and tell me afterwards.
I found a great way for starting number talks too is I took the insert out of that curriculum matters and I actually made just little 8 by 11 posters of each strategy. So I actually wrote counting on, and I put a little example and I put it right on my front board. And I went friendly numbers, making tens, doubles, And I put them on the board. It was more started for me, so I could look back and I could notice the name and make sure I was noticing the name using the right language. But then I noticed the kids are using it too, and they're using those posters to put their things on because they're not quite sure maybe what they did. But as they're working through in their head, and they're like, oh, I was actually decomposing, and then they're noticing and naming themselves, which is it's keeping me on task.
James, sorry, I know we gotta go, we're late, we're past.
Do you anticipate what they might say the same with the dogs?
Yeah, yeah,
So-
I actually, I do this, and I sit there and,
Elena, my book's right behind you if you want to show.
yeah, here was all of Courtney's anticipation.
Okay.
Right.
And the real power in when we anticipate is, I can absolutely say, 7 years ago when I was at Rideau Public School, there's no way I could name any of these strategies.
No, ditto. It's only after 5 years of that book, and I'm still reading and doing that book over again.
You don't have to start there. Like I think for me, when I'm starting, I was just Googling images. I was just trying it. I was setting a routine, and then for me, it was like then I was noticing and naming maybe like 6-8 months into that, and then another couple months later, I was anticipating in my lesson planning, and then you don't try to do it all at once because it's overwhelming.
Stacey,
Yeah,
have a question?
Just a really
Yeah.
quick one, maybe either of you can answer it. So when I'm just beginning with this and we've been doing like a lot of the strategies are coming out, but when you're modeling it, you're teaching it to a wide range. I've got kids who can do this and some that are just learning from the 10 frame in kindergarten. So
Me too.
grade one.
In my 6-7 split.
Do you kind of model that strategy over like 2 or 3 weeks?
Yes. Oh,
And so
I'm
they have that
sticking
to
with
it.
that
For
one
the whole
strategy.
month of November.
Okay,
Yeah.
so about 4 weeks until you kind of feel it's consolidated.
We're probably gonna be done until Christmas.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wondered, like when do you move, when do you
And
move
this
on?
is really important about number talks is that,
Oh,
What do
you
you
know,
charge?
yeah, live in addition for the
Okay.
entire year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do fractions. You don't have to do.
No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
Okay.
no,
Thank
like
you.
I spend weeks on making tens and then decomposing and friendly numbers, and I go till I think I'm not gonna talk about how I know when I'm ready to
Right.
move on. That's not what this place
Well,
is
and
for.
it's-
So
it's
that's not where
kids
we're going.
Kids will get stuck in one strategy too. Like our little guy, he's just like, oh my, decomposing thing. And so I challenged him all week. I was like, you are not allowed to decompose until Thursday. I was like, this week, like so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's really struggling to get a strategy. And I know tomorrow he's gonna catch himself and he's gonna be ready to decompose. But he's actually trying doubles this week too, so you push the kids out of their comfort zone.
I like that you say that because as an educator in doing number talks, that's actually changed my brain and how I answer the questions. So, when I started teaching, there's no way I would have been able to decompose numbers like that.
Literally using the algorithm, right? Like putting it on
Oh,
top of
I
each other.
would've started
Okay,
with
carry the one.
column.
We call that old school. So when my kids will do the number, I just did old school, Miss. Oh, great! How did you do it? We call that old school.
So it's changed my brain with doing that.
In primary too, that will come up